We should only love to have this kind of hunger, specifically for spreading Torah. You know, one thing in life that I recognize is how many people will kill themselves to make money, but how many people kill themselves to make an event like this? And that's really how you test the character. There's no shortage of anybody who will do anything to make money, but how many people really do it for spirituality? And really that's a taste of character. And I say one thing I know, if I 120 I go in heaven, is I know I put the same effort as making money that I did as teaching Torah. And then I could live very peacefully. So we also have to ask ourselves, you know, how much energy do you put into work, and how much energy do you put into spirituality? And usually people today, they're putting more energy, a lot more energy into work, and not too much energy into spirituality. So here we're trying to change that, because the only way, like the rabbi spoke about happiness, is what spirituality does, it makes you happy with less. If you tell a guy, listen, you know, you should be loyal to your wife, or you should, you know, be honest in business, unless he's spiritual, it's not going to happen. Because what Hashem's telling you is, this is what you have, and be happy with what you have. But if a person's not spiritual, he constantly needs, like a hungry ghost, more things, more things, more things. So you can see how spiritual a person is by how content he is. Because the ego is always telling you you're lacking, the soul is always telling you you're abundant. So that's how you know a person's in a state of his ego, or a state of his gaiva, or a state of his soul, whether how he feels, how he wakes up. So today what I'm going to do is, we have over 700 classes on WhatsApp. We're going to give the WhatsApp group after so everybody can join. I think we have over 20,000 people that have joined. The classes started 2-3 years ago from one recording, and now it's all over the world. And again, this is not something I signed up for. It happened to be by mistake. And Hashem has given me a tremendous opportunity to basically change the way people look at things. Clearly, I own a drug and rehab facility. And when a person walks into that facility, where he's, you know, high or he's on drugs, he's obviously attempting to solve a problem. And obviously you can see what went wrong in this guy's life. Did he blame his childhood for his life? Did he lose his emunah in the situation? Did his personal reality become his personality? Did something outside of him become who he is? So without the proper connection to Hashem, we can never think greater than we feel. And that's what emunah gives you. Emunah gives you the ability to look beyond the present moment, to look beyond the current circumstances. Otherwise, what happens? We're a slave to our feelings. So what I'm going to give you guys, I'm going to give you the top. Basically, I'm going to take 10 classes that I've done and just talk 3, 4, 5 minutes on each class to give you a specific instructions and everything. Rav Nachman clearly says that the reason why people are not closer to God is for one reason, not because they're from Argentina, God forbid, but because they don't have a settled mind. They don't have a settled mind. If a person doesn't have a settled mind, he can't get closer to Hashem. How can you get closer to Hashem if you don't even know who you are? And this is what the number one thing Rav Nachman spoke about, is having yeshuv adat, settling your mind. Today, unfortunately, people wake up with what? Anxiety or depression. Because they're not in the moment. They're not focusing on the current moment. They're always focusing on what's going to be or what happened. So we always say that the Yetzer Hara does one thing. He always tells you what you're doing is not enough. Like you're listening to a class. Sometimes you pick up your phone because it's not enough. Or you'll be with your friend, or you talk to your wife, you pick up your phone. This is not enough. Nothing's ever enough. We have situations where people go out to dinner with 5, 6 friends, and there's 7 phones, talking to people outside instead of looking inside. This is the generation that we've become. Nothing is ever enough. And that's what we have to look at, that if the Yetzer Hara is always telling me that this moment is never enough, and I'm always going to the next moment, and the next moment is going to lead me to another moment, then what am I doing my whole life just chasing? You know, I witness addicts get crazy cravings, and what happens? They'll do anything to get that craving. They'll do anything to get that drug. They'll jump over my facility. They could be in the high jump. They'll do whatever they can But why is it at the end of the time that they get the drug, they're empty? Because today, the Yetzer Hara tells you that the chase is where the high is. But once you get it, you get nothing. You get nothing. So we have to understand that the Yetzer Hara is always telling us that the next moment is always not enough. This moment is not enough. Why should you talk to your kids? You're missing work. Why should you talk to your wife? You could be on the phone. Why should you be able to pray when you could go to work? It's a constant rat race. And today, if we don't come to that realization, then what happens? We're always chasing. And this is what Rav Nachman told you. He says that at the end of the day, whatever you're chasing, he's going to open up his hand and you're going to see nothingness. So how many times are we losing our spirituality just chasing? So that's one thing about Rav Nachman's teachings that taught me. It taught me to stop chasing. Stop chasing already. At the end of the day, once you get the thing, you're not going to be happy. It's emptiness. And that's what we need to realize. So today I'm going to talk about the 10 top concepts. The number one concept that we're going to talk about is the purpose of creation is for God to reveal His kingship. That means our job in this world is to crown Hashem. What are we doing? Rosh Hashanah is in 2-3 weeks. Your job in Rosh Hashanah is to say, Hashem is the king. We're not asking for money. We're not asking for parnasa. We're just saying Hashem is the king. Now let me ask you a question. You can go say Hashem is the king when you know you're not getting the right deal, when you know you're complaining about your husband, you're complaining about money, you're complaining about your mother-in-law, you're complaining about this. How could you say Hashem is the king? That means that what I'm saying, what I'm feeling, is not the same. So the month of Elul really is a month that we have to really get perspective and recognize, am I ready to say, when Rosh Hashanah comes, can I say deep down in my heart, Hashem is the king? Or am I saying that with truth? That's a very realization. So we can see, you know what? I want to make sure I'm preparing for Rosh Hashanah so I can say Hashem is the king. But I can't say Hashem is the king if I walk around with resentment, if I walk around with trauma, if I walk around with anger, if I walk around with anxieties, if I walk around with all these negative emotions. How could you possibly say Hashem is the king? That means you're saying something, but what you believe is completely different. So that's just one meditation that we need to understand. And when I get to Rosh Hashanah, can I say it with a smile? That means, have I taken the situations in my life and found the good points in my life? And we need to understand that this world is a world of lacking. This world is not a perfect world. The reason our sages say that Rosh Hashanah is in Tishrei is because Tishrei represents disorder. This is where man was created in Tishrei. And what does Tishrei represent? Tishrei represents a lack. Our sages say that Adam and Chava came to this world. We came to this world imperfect. Our job is to elevate darkness. Our job is to elevate the imperfections and elevate it to Hashem. What's the prime example of this? For example, we know that Adam represents order. We know that the word Adam represents a numerical value of 45. When Chava came into the world, she brought disorder into the world. Disorder. Everything's backwards. Adam and Chava are a state of our lives. The reason why in Tishrei we have to say Hashem is the king is because we're making a rectification for the first sin. What was the first sin? The first sin is wanting to be in control. Chava wanted to be in control. She didn't want to be under Hashem. She wanted control. She wanted kavod. So what happened? Because of the sin that had to go, everything turned into disorder. So what Rav Nachman's telling us here is that Adam represents a numerical value of 45. Chava represents a numerical value of 19. So if you look, what's missing between 45 and 19? What's the math? 26. What is the name of 26? Hashem. If you want to know why things are out of order in your life, it's very simple. You took the 26 out. When you say, I want to run, I want to control this, I want to be right, When you say, this is not going the way I want it. When you say, I'm not going to forgive that person. What am I saying? The kingship is not right. How can you ask somebody to be thankful to Hashem if he thinks that Hashem is injustice? If he thinks Hashem gave him a bad deal? How could you tell the guy, be thankful, be thankful? How can you be thankful? Look at the deal I got. So any time that in our lives that we see that is disorder, that things are going chaotic, and we don't understand why, is because what did we do? We took Hashem out of the picture. What is the job of the ego? Edging God out. Ego. Edging God out. That's what the ego does. This is a Kabbalistic concept from the day of creation. When we see things that are out of order, when we think things are wacky, when I see things that I can't, it's because I'm trying to take control. What happens when you lose control in life? What's the first emotion that you get? Angry. Why anger? Because anger is saying, I want to be God. I don't like the way things are going. Let me take over. Oh, if you want to take over? Your life is going to go in disorder. So the only way to come back to order, Rav Nachman says, is you have to put the 26 back in the picture. This is the word ma. The word makshava means a thought in Hebrew. Hashuv, return to ma. Go back to ma. See where you took the ego out of the picture and go back to humility. We're going to give you guys some examples of that. So any time that a person's going through a situation in his life, blaming people for it. How many times I get people in my rehab, my father put me here. How many times I put him in this situation happened to put me here. Yes, you are in pain. There's no question you could be in pain. There's a difference between being having a broken heart and being depressed. I've had a broken heart, but depression is from the other side. That's what we need to fight today. We need to recognize that there's no room for depression, but a broken heart is a must. What do I do when I have a broken heart? I come to my Creator and ask Him for help. This is why the Pasuk says, God heals the broken heart. So Hashem creates a lack in our life so you can come closer to Him through that lack. Don't look at the lack as personal. If a person is having shalom bayit issues, that is the lack that Hashem wants from you, and He wants you to come closer to Him through that lack. If a person has money issues, because let's be honest, somehow Hashem's going to get our attention. He's going to do it through money, or He's going to do it through your wife or your husband. How else is He going to get your attention? He's going to email you? How is He going to get your attention? So these things are the things that we become desperate. Oh my God, I can't. So it forces us to get closer. So that's why I always say, inspiration or desperation. This is the only way we get closer to Hashem. I think the same word in Spanish, inspiración or desesperación. When you ask a guy, what happened to you? No, I had this problem. Oh, now you got closer to Hashem? That's the only way. But you need to understand, you're always going to have a lack in your life, no matter who you are. And that lack is the only reason for a lack is to get closer to Hashem in that lack. If you recognize that, you think it's a favor, you think it's intimacy, if you think Hashem is doing it, like we're going to say, He's doing it to you, then you think He's out to get you. And this is where people really get the whole picture off. Today, religion will not change your life. Only faith will. You can have religion, you can pray, blah, 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 but you have no faith. You have no faith, no emunah. No, look at the face. The guy's praying. He's in the thing. He walks around like it's Tisha B'Av. Where's the light on the guy's face? What do you mean? He's praying. He's not internalizing it. You have to take Torah and you have to bring it down into your heart. That's where Nachman's message. If a person just takes Torah and he puts it in his head, a Koreans can learn Gemara. There's a Japanese edition of the Gemara. Doesn't mean they're applying it. Doesn't mean they're using it. It just means they're reading it. So when we don't use information, when we don't use Torah to serve Hashem, when we don't use Torah to become better, then it just stays in our head. And then we become intellectuals, and we lose our emunah. We lose our emunah. So that's why, in this generation, there's a lot of people that the more sophisticated you are, the less likely you will be, you're going to understand things. Because you need to figure things out in life. But Rav Nachman said the opposite. He said the more emunah you're going to have, the more you'll figure things out. The smarter you'll be. Why do people have a problem today connecting to Hashem? Because I need to understand everything. I need to understand. I need to figure everything out. It has to make sense to me. Who says it has to make sense to you? It's the opposite. First you believe, then you will see. But if you're a person that only needs to see it to believe it, then that's not emunah. That's a transaction. Emunah is thinking greater than you feel. Emunah is going beyond your immediate thought. Emunah means bittul. So again, our job in Rosh Hashanah is to crown Hashem. By crowning Hashem is by putting a smile, by thanking Him for your issues, by recognizing that when I change the way I look at things, the things that I look at is going to change. The purpose of prayer is not to change Hashem's mind. The purpose of prayer is to change the way you look at the situation. If I have a problem forgiving somebody, I can't pray, Hashem, let that person say sorry. Wait, you're going to wait forever. What should the prayer be? Hashem, please, just like you turn your anger into mercy, help me also turn my anger into mercy. Give me the strength to give that person mercy. Give me the strength to look at him differently. That's what prayer does. It forces you to change you. It's a gift. It's not a chore. It's a gift, it's not a chore. So when we recognize this, we start using prayer when we have lacks. You have an issue with your business, what are you going to do? Worry? Get anxious? Scream at your employees? Or recognize that's an opportunity for you to come closer to Hashem. Once you see that, you get the big picture. But once you're fighting, you're yelling at the mailman for giving you the letter, or you're yelling at the customer for taking away your money, or you're blaming your competitor for taking away your money, then you're focusing more on the messenger, not the message. The message is you need to come closer to Hashem. But you're blaming the messenger. So what happens? You get angry at the messenger. And you think the situation ever changes? No. Today, people are yelling at the messenger, and they're not getting the message. They're blaming their wives for acting this way, and they're not recognizing this is Hashem talking to her. And it's not easy, because we take things personal in life. Nobody wants to be criticized by their spouse. Moroccan, Ashkenazi, you name it. Nobody wants to take it. Nobody can deal with it. But we have to recognize that's the only way that we're going to bittul ourselves. That's the only way that we nullify ourselves. So the first one is stop taking the lacks in your life and being upset with the lack. Recognize the lack as an opportunity for you to come closer to Hashem. If you think like this, not only will you get the message, and how do we know this? We know this from the Egyptians. What happened with the Egyptian? They ran after the Jews. The Jews cried out and said, Hashem, please save me. They got comfortable. What do you think happened after? He sent them again. What do you think? Why did he have to send them again? Hashem, my mother-in-law just left. Thank you, Hashem. She's coming back. So once we know that we can't stop. We can't get comfortable in life. Because when we get comfortable, we become a casualty to be comfortable. We spoke today. What are the two things that are affecting spouses, affecting marriages today? Is resentment. Not letting go. Holding it in. Holding in anger. And not what? What's the second one? Not renewing yourself. Like we said, if you do what you did in the beginning of the marriage, there will not be an end. But what happens? In the beginning of the marriage, everybody's on their feet, best behavior, everybody's dressing up, working out, ba 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 ba. But the middle of the marriage, you started receiving instead of giving. So it's, well, this guy got comfortable. Must be he has it in the bag. So this is how marriages unfortunately fail. We have to be on the ball. Just because you're married doesn't mean you get comfortable. This is how all problems begin in life. All problems. You don't compliment your wife, she'll get the compliment from Facebook. One way or another, she's going to get the compliment. This is the generation that we live. We can't be comfortable in life with anything. Can't be comfortable with spirituality. Do not be comfortable in your marriage. Do not be comfortable in your health. Do not be comfortable. It's the worst thing, because your comfortable says, listen, I'm good. I don't need anything. So this is what Rav Nachman's message is really not being comfortable. When you become comfortable, it's the beginning of the end. Anything you get comfortable in is the beginning of the end. So this is what Elul is about. Getting out of your comfort zone. Getting out of this comfort zone. This is what our sages say in Isaiah. They serve me with their lips, but their hearts very far away. When we get comfortable in life, we serve Hashem with our lips, but we don't use our heart. And this is where things get stale, they get cooled off. This is the attack of Amalek. It's called Mikre. They cooled you off. When people get cooled off spiritually, it's the beginning of the never at the beginning of the end. So there's a reason why I give a class every day. There's a reason why I don't skip. Because God forbid I'll take a couple days off. And then I'll say mañana. And then mañana's mañana. And the next thing you know, I can't start. You don't want to be mañana mindsets. Right now is the moment. Number two, just like the Israeli contractors, they tell you, bli neder, I'll be there. Bli neder, bli never, you'll be there. Don't worry, it's the same thing as Israel. Mañana contracting or bli never contracting. The world is created, Rav Nachman is telling us that we speak about a lot in the classes, the concept of a tzimtzum. What is a tzimtzum? A tzimtzum is an absence of light. Hashem has to create in your life equal amount of darkness and equal amount of light. There has to be an equal balance. I don't know if anybody's a soccer fan here, but would you ever go to a game with no goalie? What would you do if you went to a game with no goalie? Boring. But what do you mean? You could score all day long. I don't want, when a person tells you, I don't want obstacles, I don't want problems, I just want a life with no goalie. It's going to lead you to misery. You'll be bored out of your mind. So Hashem sets up darkness in our lives. And the purpose of darkness is for you to have free will. Very important concepts. The problem is people interpret darkness today as what? As abandonment. Hashem left me. He didn't leave you. He cannot be revealed. I don't know if anybody's played hide and go seek with your kids. Peekaboo? This is like the relationship between you and Hashem. He's revealed, he's hidden. He's revealed, one day everything's going good. Next thing you know, what's going on? Marriage is great. What the heck? What happened? Don't you see it's happening all the time? Peekaboo, revelation, hidden. Why does this have to happen? Because like we said before, if he was revealed all the time, then where do you come into the picture? What is your purpose here? You have no purpose. So we have to go through darkness. Darkness gives you a preparation to receive light. Darkness is a vehicle to create vessels. Darkness is an opportunity for emunah. But if you just want light all the time, it's not reasonable. It's not reasonable. You're in a system that you can never win. So when I tell people, stop complaining about your problems, thank Hashem for your problems, you're basically saying you're giving me an opportunity to test. So and the darkness in your life is an opportunity for you to overcome. I gave this example. We had 2 stores in Las Vegas. My wife is a designer. And what happened is we had one employee that we wanted to make her into manager of 2 stores. So what happens? I said, listen, we want to make that employee to 2 stores, but first we have to test her. How could you give her 2 stores without testing her? So what did we do? We sent the customer with money, cash. Now, I can't tell her, by the way, look, they're coming, don't steal the money. I have to create an opportunity for her to choose. Do I take the money or do I not take the money? I'm there the whole time watching. But her choice, she didn't take the money. So she got 2 stores. So Hashem is the same thing with us. He puts you in a situation where are you going to take the money or you're not going to take the money? But he can't tell you, oh, by the way, take the money or not take the money, because then there's no free choice. So the person has to have a concealment. So when I'm in a dark situation in my life, I just have to say Hashem is concealed, escondido, not abandonado. Big difference. If I say somebody abandoned me, drugs, alcohol, goodbye, I'm finished. But if I say he's concealed, what do you do if somebody's concealed? You go look for him. So it's a very important message. Because if you don't understand what darkness and what light is, then you're going to always be in darkness. Because you're not going to recognize this has to happen. So you start recognizing it's okay that I don't have clarity all the time. Because this is an opportunity. Number 3. The bread of shame. Our sages say that all the souls in creation were connected to this inner light. And what happened? There was a great sense of shame that they weren't doing anything for the light. So what happened? Hashem had to create what? He had to send the souls down to the earth in order to earn the light. What does a drug addict do? He's seeking spirituality in 1 minute. Is he earning the light? No. People tell me, I get closer to Hashem when I smoke marijuana. Well, how did you get there? Did you learn? No, I feel good. But what happens afterwards? He crashes. Did you earn the light? Did you earn that tranquility? No. You just puffed it, you just puffed it, you didn't earn it. So anything that you don't earn, does not have a vessel, will eventually break. Just like you would never go to a wedding and eat for free that you're not invited. Would you go to a wedding that you're not invited? Depends who, but if you're at that wedding, you would feel shame. You couldn't eat the food. You couldn't. I mean, you never know. Maybe in Argentina, but I'm Colombian, so you know how much I love Argentinians. So the bottom line is, you couldn't eat something. A person, just joke. You can never eat something that you never earned. So the same thing with us. If I gave you a lap band surgery, or if I gave you lost 50 pounds, you didn't earn it, there is no way you would keep it on. So the only way we sustain light is by what? Shattering of the vessel. A vessel has to break, and then has to be rebuilt. A vessel has to break and has to be rebuilt. Through what? Again, back to the same thing. Emunah. What's the problem with today? Why people do not hit goals? New Year's resolution. What do they say? Oh, I want to go vegan, CrossFit, lose 50 pounds in a week, blah, 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 blah. They have so much light, but where's the vessel? So what happens? They start in 2 weeks, and then nothing happens. They end up quitting. How come 90% of the people that start New Year's resolutions quit? Every year the same thing. Because they're thinking too big, but they don't have a vessel to contain it. So us also, we think big, but we also have to plan small. Well, what should that person do? I'm going to go 1 week, 10 minutes on the treadmill. The next week, no Coca-Cola. Next week, this. Little by little, building the vessel so that it can contain light. But people that want all the vessel all the light without the vessel, it's going to break. It's going to break. So you shouldn't want something too quick in life. Because if you get it too quick, it's not going to be sustainable. That's why you have to ask for a bigger vessel, not more light. Number 4, the world was created, like the rabbis say, the world was created out of love. Hashem created the world to reveal His kindness. So anything that happens to us, we need to understand that it's happening for you, not to you. This is a Tony Robbins concept, but it's not really a Tony Robbins concept. He's always saying this, but it's a Kabbalistic concept. That if Hashem created the world out of chesed, then things are happening for my benefit. So sometimes Hashem will what? He'll break your heart to save your soul. Let's say you're in a relationship. What does He do? He wants to save your soul, but He has to sometimes break your heart. How many times have you had a broken heart? But at the end of the day, what did He save you? He saves your soul. But at the moment you see that, you don't see it. You only see bad. Because we don't have the what? We don't recognize how good Hashem is in our lives. So we only see bad. We only see darkness. But we need to understand it's coming out of love. The reason I'm giving these classes and I opened up drug and rehab facilities, I had nothing to do with this. Either one or the other. Is I had a traumatic 2 years in my life that got me to the right position in my life. I would never have gotten there myself. So sometimes if you're not in your mission in your life, He has to flip your life around to get you there. One way or another, He's going to get you there. But sometimes it's not so, it's a little painful. But through the pain, you end up growing. Okay? So recognizing that everything's happened for you, so what you should say when you see something that appears to be bad, you have to say, I'm not seeing the whole picture. I'm not seeing the whole picture. I need to change my perception. Number 6, we need to understand the concept of powerless. Once a person recognizes that he's nothing without Hashem, he's zero without Hashem, that he's completely powerless. Believe me, I'm at a drug rehab facility for 7 years. There is not one addict that's in recovery right now that has not understood that he has no control over his addiction unless Hashem helps him. The same thing today. If you want to think you have any shot of anything you do, it's funny because a week and a half ago, I had a shalom bayit issue. And I got upset at myself for arguing back 3 times in a row. Yelling. I said, me? I don't understand that. How could I yell? I'm teaching this stuff all day long. How could I yell? So I didn't recognize how powerless I am. I asked Hashem to say, listen, I'm nothing without you. I can't even control my mouth. After I said that, everything was normal. But when you think you could do something without Hashem, you already lost. So powerless is not a weakness. Powerless is a strength. I don't want to be powerless. It's weakness. No. It's being reliant that you have nothing without Hashem. Once you recognize the gift of powerlessness, if you fail, it doesn't bother you. Because you said, listen, my success is not even up to me. It's up to Hashem. But if you have a big ego, you're saying, how can I fail? And I'm not going to take another chance, because if I take another chance, what are people going to think of me? Because you think it's your success. But when you get to the midah of powerless, you don't want to be a perfectionist. You don't want to be a procrastinator, because you recognize, who are you? Who are you to think it's your success? This is the problem with the world today. It's my success, my hand. I'm the one making the money. And boy, are they miserable. But when you recognize you're powerless, all I can do is ask Hashem for help. That itself is power. That is the biggest power. Because you don't have to be You don't have to worry about what people say. You don't have to worry about if you fail. Listen, I got divorced. I got remarried. I could have been in fear, like a lot of people that got divorced, and said, look, what happens if it happens again? What are people going to say about you? How could you do it? It's too big of a chance. So this is, who's talking like this? This is the ego. What are people going to think? So what, I'm not going to get married again because I'm worried about what the poll says? Or if I fail again? If I fail, that's what it is. So when you live like that, you don't care to take chances. You live like that, you don't care what people say. And you live with real identity. But when you don't live like that, and you think you're in charge of everything, then you're not going to make decisions quickly, because you're going to say, what if I fail? What if I succeed? You think it's up to you. And that is the biggest fool that you can understand. So that's why people are suffering so much, because they're resisting pain. Hashem gives you pain. If you accept the pain gets lessened. If you take the pain and you fight the pain, you resist the pain, you know what happens? The pain grows stronger and stronger and stronger. Accept the pain and let it go. No, I want to hold on to it. And this is what happens. So we have to understand that we are nothing without Hashem, and that everything from Hashem is a gift. And you have to understand, believe me, we just finished, almost got hit by a hurricane. Do you think there was a parade the next day thanking Hashem for not getting hit? Oh, everybody went like nothing happened. This is the problem. You would figure, we didn't get hit by a hurricane, nothing happened, nobody spent any money, plenty of water, they should have had a huge parade, Thanksgiving parade. But they said, oh, that's nice, we didn't get hit. Thank you. Next. See what we have a long-term memory for trauma. That we remember every trauma, every hurt, every insult, but a very short memory for gratitude. When things happen, oh, it just bounces off. But trauma, oh, 10 years I remember this. It's a memory problem. Got the wrong memory. Ramnachman tells you the opposite. The past, forget about it. And the present, love it. Tells you, you know what you want to do with the past? Look at, reflect it, and say, forget about it. The problem with today, and I see it in psychology today, people are too stuck replaying the scene. Replay, 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 replay. When are you going to press play? When are you going to press play already? Okay, whatever happened, happened. But when are you going to press play? Hasidut believes every moment is a new moment. It's easy because the new moment just created. So we don't want to get stuck in these traumatic traumas. The world was created, we have a couple more. We have to understand something, that life is created. In life you have to recognize that there is no perfection in this world. That a person has a lacking in this world. His imperfection is your perfection. Your broken heart, there's nothing greater, as sages say, than a broken heart. And there's nothing worse than a person who thinks, I got it all. So you have to start recognizing, especially with marriage, especially with dating, you have to start getting satisfied being dissatisfied. You are not going to be satisfied all the time. I hate to break it to you. But once I recognize I will be satisfied being dissatisfied, I no longer have to be satisfied all the time. So I'm happy. Knowing that I'm not going to be happy all the time. What's the problem why an alcoholic can't pray? Why do you think an alcoholic cannot come closer to Hashem? Why he can't pray? It's because this alcoholic feels, what do drugs make you do? They make you feel whole. I'm shalem, I'm complete. And what do you think prayer is for? You come to Hashem with your lack. The opposite. So we're not supposed to be perfect. Any pursuit of perfection is completely off. Don't look to be satisfied everything. This is where Rav Nachman says, always find the good points in your spouse. But if you're looking for satisfaction, many times people ask me to set them up on shidduchim. You know what they ask me? I need this. So basically you're telling me you want to bring your toothbrush to the guy's house. This is your soulmate or your roommate? You just want to come with your toothbrush. What do you need you for? We go to relationships to give, not to take. The more you give, the less you'll need to take. The more you need, the less satisfied you'll be. It's very important. As spouses, we have to go to give. A relationship is the place you go to give. Because when you give, you know what happens? You have shalom and you get from Hashem. But when you only go to take, you become arrogant and you always want respect, honor, then Hashem leaves you. Because there's no peace. So the more you pursue honor, the less honor runs away from you. So you want to be happy or you want to be right? You need to think of, you can't be both, by the way. News to everybody, it does not work. You want to be right or you want to be happy? And that's what another thing in Elul. Elul is also working on our own kavod. Not wanting kavod. Not wanting to be right. Not wanting to impose. Like we said, you're either needed in the world or you become needy. You know, a person's very needy. I need this. It exhausts you already. How much do you need? You need to be needed, not needy. Big difference. We'll finish the last concept. Mind over mood. This is a very, very, very tough topic that we speak about a lot. Most of the times, because every time we're trying to get closer to Hashem, or we want to start something new, you want to start prayer, you want to start listening to classes, you want to start helping your wife, you start getting moody. I promise you, if you want to go eat Taco Tuesdays, nobody's going to be moody. But every time we want to do something spiritual, we start hesitating. How come there's no problem if I want to go to a football game? There's no problem if I want to go to a party. No problem, no hesitation. But how come when I want to start doing his bodhidut, I'm tired. Or how come if I want to start reading, no, I can't, not now. We always hesitate. It's because Rav Nachman's telling you that anything that you have that's good has to have resistance. Anything that's good in your life has resistance. That means if you feel like giving up in life, it's the time you need to turn it up. Any time when you feel like, I can't do this anymore, you need to put the gas on. And we all feel like giving up a lot. No matter who you are. Everybody has pain in this world. But you need to turn your obstacles and increase your desire through your obstacles. Any questions? Any questions? Good? All right, that's today's class. Any questions?
Solamente agradecer, me dijeron a mí nada más como que fue el que ocasionó esto y en realidad, bueno, si no hubiera venido el Rabbi Lared del Gedale, pues no estaríamos nadie aquí. Y a cada uno de los donadores sabe su trabajo que hizo, se los agradecemos mucho, no me permiten decir su nombre, pero muchas gracias por su participación.